Shelter Insurance, we've found that peace of mind offers some real advantages. That's why we work hard to make things easier for you. By sheltering your cars, by sheltering your home, by sheltering your toys, by sheltering your life. Peace of mind. Isn't that the best shelter there is? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter Agent Mark Manning about Shelter's competitive insurance rates.
Customized vision care in the Newport Village Mall. My good friend, Dr. Gavin McDowell, and I give him the perfect handshake today, just like a normal human being would. A little different. Feels a little different, doesn't it?
It does.
It's
foreign.
It is foreign. What seems so natural is so foreign. We want to talk today about some of the things that you do.
Okay.
And I want to start with, what is this thing right here?
That gives a demonstration of differences in lenses.
There's differences in lenses?
Yeah, well, of course there's differences in lenses. Look, okay, you are going to be able to see, you at home will not.
Okay.
Both of these have an anti-reflectant coat.
Okay.
And so if you're looking at the reflection of the light in the lens itself, that has a greenish.
It does. I can see it from here. Yeah.
And what color is that?
I don't see a color. It's if anything, it's a...
There's a little bit of blue.
Bluish, yeah. The lights are blue.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, green and blue.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So basically what both of these are what's called an anti-reflectant coating, and what it does, it cuts glare. Okay. So like especially at nighttime driving and stuff like that, you can have glare cut through. So where these differ is the blue helps filter out the blue end of the spectrum, more UV. And so with a clear lens, we're actually able to protect the eyes better with a blue filtering AR. And what's really important about a blue filtering AR is that you know what gives off a lot of UV light?
I don't know. What is it?
Well, the sun. As well
the big
as
thing in the sky?
computer screens.
Yeah, but they're bright, yeah.
And your cell phone screen. Really? Every peripheral device has been shown to put out UV radiation.
Is that
so
right?
Therefore, we're trying to get kids in the blue blocking UV just to help protect their eyes over a lifetime. Because how many computer screens were you in front of as a kid?
None.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. And then the Commodore 64 came out.
I don't remember that. Was that the big one?
That was the very first one, I think. It was like the...
I can't remember the first computer that I...
The first computer I saw was at school, and that was, I was 7th grade, something like that. You were what, 35 when you saw your first one?
Probably so. It's been a long time ago, but I'm an older guy too. But you know, really, I don't remember about the first computer, but I know I was amazed. I couldn't operate it, and 30 years later, I still can't operate one, but I'm amazed about what they do.
I thought I was going to be a computer programmer because I figured out how you could type a little program and make it just count sequentially until you stopped it. I thought I was a whiz.
You were a whiz, weren't you?
I was intelligent.
But now here you are,
Look at me, just doing
an eye doctor.
Sheesh.
That's what I call you, an eye doctor. I know there's more professional terms that you use, but he's an eye doctor.
I'm not a real doctor. I'm an eye doctor.
And the next prop, my friend.
Yes.
Tell everybody what this is. And what does this thing do?
This, well, I turn it on.
Oh man, that's cool.
Look through there. You see all the, I say distortion, but you see how the lenses aren't perfectly uniform as that light goes through there. This is a polarizing lens.
Okay.
So what this does, this shows the distortion caused in how some of these lenses are made. So
wow.
We try to go, the labs we use, we really strive to use the best possible material as well as process to make that lens right. So what we do with our lenses, we show, here's Acme Lens Company's lens, and here's the lens we like to use, and ours has 0 distortion.
Okay.
So but we are giving you the finest vision we possibly can with the use of lenses.
So when you come in, you go through the process of going, it's cool, isn't it? Yeah, that's very cool.
Looks almost Star Trek-y.
It does.
Just see how almost splinters right there.
I do see them.
This is not a good visual prop for the TV.
Well, no, I know that, but it's just kind of fun that we have some toys here on the desk. But and it leads me to ask you this: when you go through and you start your initial examination process, and there's 2 or 3 different things that you have to do, and then when you go in there and we say, okay, you need glasses. Then when you come out here, then these are the tools you say, do you want these in your glasses? Here's the things, and this is what these do.
Right.
If you want those in your glasses, some anti-scratch, and here's something that'll do the UV and blah, 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 blah. So not only do you have to diagnose it, but then as a customer, as a client, then you've got to decide what's best for you.
Yes. Well, I will say
and these
this.
things are what's best for you.
Most of the time what we do is when I'm in the exam room with the patient, I try to get, for sure, no matter what patient we get, we try to get to know everybody.
Right, sure.
What are you going to be using the glasses for? You're going to be using them, are you going to be sitting around playing computer games all day?
Right.
Search your words? Or are you going to be out, digging wells with these things? So we try to tailor the type of lens and frame that you're going to need to use. It's going to be, for the better example, if I needed to nail a nail into the wall, I can use the butt end of a screwdriver to make that happen, right?
You could.
But it's a lot better if I have the right tool.
If you have the right tool,
Exactly
it goes in
what we try to do. We try to fit you into the right tool. Or for a woman's perspective, you don't wear the same pair of shoes to church as you would to go out working in the yard,
right?
Or walking around the mall, or what have you. You're going to use different shoes for different environments, different things. So we are going to try to tailor your options to what's going to fit you best. Now it's going to be very, very hard to get you in a pair of glasses that does absolutely everything. That's why it's important to understand multiple pairs are a great option, because I can't get you a pair of glasses to walk around in and go to church in that's going to work great as sunglasses.
Right, absolutely.
We can get something close, but it ain't going to be perfect.
Yeah, you correct vision, but you correct vision under perfect circumstances, and those circumstances change all the time. This is a perfect circumstance, and you got perfect vision, but now the circumstance changes, and you don't have perfect vision anymore.
What's up with that?
Yeah, what is it? Here's my next thing. What is this?
That's a PD ruler.
It's a what?
It's a PD ruler.
I thought it was my little prop that I did this with. So what does a PD ruler do? You do something like that?
Very, very similar, yeah.
I've been in here before.
This is a low-tech device to do that.
Oh, low-tech.
It is low-tech, but anyway, it's marked in millimeters, usually what we'll do.
Okay.
And you'll have me or an optician basically line up where your pupils are, and we'll measure the distance between one to the other. And that's how we measure, when we cut lenses for your glasses, they are very much that shape. So that does not go. You see all these frames back here.
That doesn't fit in those frames.
It doesn't fit in either one of those. So we have to cut that down. So when we cut that down, we need to know where the center of that lens is.
Okay.
And what's important with that is we need to put both centers of each lens as the exact distance between where your pupils are, because your pupillary distance, or PD.
What?
Pupillary distance. Distance between two pupils.
Woo!
I know, right?
Pupillary.
There will be a test later.
Yes.
Anyway, we want to line the optical centers of these to the center of each pupil. So we need to know how far apart these got to sit in frame. Because I can get a frame and put a 52 PD or a 63 PD in there, just depending on how the frame works out and stuff. So, and that's why it's important that you have it measured accurately. Now, the great thing about this is we'll use this from time to time, but we do have a device called a pupilometer, or pupil meter, if you want to call it that. And it is a digital measurement, not only of interpupillary distance, or PD, but we can do monocular PDs, and that's important when it comes to using what's called a progressive lens. Those are the lenses that have the reading powers that didn't have the line in it, because those have a very
bifocals that are not bifocals.
Right. They have a very specific, precise corridor you have to look through to be able to see clearly. And so the reason it's important we do monocular, we need to know, does one eye turn in more than the other? Because if it does, we need to adjust that lens just slightly.
Wow. Technology.
Technology. Now there is you'll probably have seen commercials. I think it's Lens Crafters has a big fancy. We had this technology to measure, all these points that, they're not done before. All it is a very high-end computer program that does the same thing that our pupilometer does.
Okay.
So I mean, we do the same things. It's just they're going to wow you with bells and whistles. Actually, we have a program on one of our tablets up here that does the exact same thing.
Is that right?
You know what we found? Not near as accurate.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, and trial and error on a lot of things that you do.
Yes. Yes.
You got to find out what's accurate and what's not accurate, especially when talk about computers and so on and so forth. Quit that. That is mine. That's not yours to play with.
I'm doing it because I wanted you to get aggravated.
My next question is, these are my new sunglasses that I just got today.
Ooh.
And they're Oakleys, and of course we have lots of other kinds of sunglasses, but how'd I look?
You look like you should be sitting in a old police cruiser that was bought at auction on the way to Chicago at night.
Yes.
If you get the reference.
You're not very nice.
Whatever.
You're not very. My next question, you sir, what is this?
That is a very interesting thing. If you take it apart, actually, you don't have to take it apart. If you drop it forcefully on the ground,
Please don't.
I make your attitude change very quickly.
Yes, sir. It'd make my volume go down too.
Yes, it would.
And of course, this is a cell phone, and this is whatever.
And I just dropped
And you
mine.
drop yours on the floor. That's an extra $500.
There we go. I got it.
So everything going good with the Vision Eye Care Vision.
yeah.
Eye Care Vision. What'd I say?
Eye vision.
Eye Vision. Eye Vision.
It's your gag. It's your gag, and you keep
Eye
forgetting it.
Vision. Eye Vision. How's
That's
Eye
like
Vision?
Benny Youngman coming out and saying, "Take my wife, for example. You know, don't mess up your own little gag." It's
You know, I've turned 60.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, it's been almost a year ago, so that doesn't matter, does it?
I just turned it. Mentally and
Yes,
spiritually,
sir.
I finally accepted I turned 60. I got you.
You know, I often say that when you hit those years, like when you turn 60, and then the day after that you turn 60, you're closer to 80 than you are 40.
Yes.
You know, when you think about those 20-year increments, or if you turn 35, the day after that, you're closest, you know, you get to figuring
Yeah.
about how long you've lived. And, well, I've lived pretty good. And you
Yeah.
know what? I could see perfectly when I was 8 and 9 and 12, but from about 18 to 60,
It's been a roller coaster, hasn't it?
I've needed guys like you for my eye vision.
Well, I'm glad.
And used you for the last however many years. How long have you been here? How long have you been here?
About 12 parsecs.
Is that coming years or?
No, I don't know.
You've been here a long time.
I have 10 years. Been here 10 years. Yeah.
Taking care of folks. And,
Yes. Yes.
of course, Dr. Rodman here before that,
Yeah.
and you took over his business and built your business here, and you built businesses in other places,
Mm-hmm.
and been pretty successful, I guess.
I'm able to keep the lights on.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
good.
and we're able to see them because of you. Just because of you. Did y'all learn anything out there today? I'm not sure we taught anything, or it's customized vision care. We do that stuff. We like get you glasses and contacts, and we need to check you, quote, medically.
Don't. There's no air quotes to that.
Well,
It is
yeah,
medically.
medically, you know,
I love
but-
how I have patients come in. I had a patient.
You're not a doctor because you're just
I had
an
a
eye
patient
doctor.
come in the other day, and this was on their scheduled yearly exam, and they made some comment about, I had this, describing a condition they had experienced.
Right.
And it was something so mundane and everyday. It was no concern whatsoever. She went to the emergency room with it because she was not aware that I needed to be the one who looked at that.
Medically.
And I can't tell you how many times I have patients come to me and say, well, my PCP or the emergency room sent me over here. Why didn't you come here first? Well, I didn't know you did that.
I think I told this story 6 or 8 months ago, but my eyes got real red one weekend, and I came here. I didn't go to the emergency room. I came here and said, Doc, he said, I seen your eyes, and you said, here's the blah, blah, blah. I mean, I was in, out 5 seconds, and
Yeah.
had my little drops. And
Yeah. Now, when he says 5 seconds, I don't want to
Well,
oversell here, buddy, all right?
maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes. 5 seconds, I'm good, but I ain't that good.
Well, but I do appreciate you because you knew exactly what was wrong and said, here, this will clear that up. And
Not just a pretty face. Got it.
you got
right
it,
there.
don't you? Dr. Gavin McDowell. He is my buddy.
Oh.
I got you, didn't I? He is my buddy. And I love coming to visit with you because we have the best show on television.
Yes,
There's no doubt.
yes, we do. I'm surprised we have not picked up sponsors.
Well, it's
I'm
coming.
telling you, if we get that one where we have 2 trucks driving side by side and the camera's in the bed of one and we're in the other, I guarantee we have people wanting to get on the sponsor.
We've hit it big time, haven't we?
Yep.
He is who he is, and I am
Yes.
who I am, and we're both glad that neither one of us are who we are. And Kristen says we need to do something. So what do we need to do? I couldn't see that far.
I'm ignoring them.
I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's continue on more with the Business Spotlight. John Chadwell, NEDC, and we've got information like we do each and every month here on Cable Channel 15 TV and on Facebook and on the World Wide Web, as they say, cable15tv.com. John Chadwell?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. So tell me, my friend, how's it going on a beautiful, nice, real warm, early August morning?
Oh, it's Newport. It's always 75 degrees and a cool breeze off the White River.
Woo! That's a good selling point, isn't it? Yes, sir. Kind of warm out there today, isn't it?
Kind of warm out there today, but
Yeah.
but that's all right. It's that time of year.
It is that. It is that.
But things are going really well.
Tell us some of the things that we got going on. And we talk about a lot of things on this program, and we want to give updates on the program. But I mean, we're doing things down here. Tell us about it.
And there's really several different categories of things we do. There's the things we do that people see right away.
Right.
You know, you get and they don't realize how much work went in. Maybe 2 or 3 years, went in to get it, but they see it right away, and it just happened. But then there's also the things we do that are long term. We know they're long term going in. We know it's not going to be fast, but we're planting seeds for something in the future. And one of those I'm really excited about is this option we got on a 3,000-acre industrial site. When there are companies that are called mega projects, and these are the really large projects around the country. There's not a ton of them, but there may be 50 a year around the United States that'll have 1,000 or more jobs, be a big project. Those big projects may be like a great big steel mill, like Blue River Steel. They may be a car manufacturer. They may be a great big chemical processing plant. They could be a big electrical plant, just all kinds of stuff. Those mega projects. Well, those mega projects look for sites of 1,500 acres or more. And they prefer sites of 2,000 acres or more.
Okay.
And they prefer sites that have been pre-certified, and we'll talk about what pre-certification is in a minute.
Okay.
But the state keeps this database of mega sites. Right. Right now, there's 4 in the state of Arkansas.
Okay.
Only 2 of them are certified.
Okay.
All right. So right now, if a prospect called the state of Arkansas and said, "We're a mega project, and we want to look at your state, but we only want certified sites," our state would send them the site just south of Little Rock in Saline County, and the site in West Memphis.
Okay.
And that's only 2 certified mega sites they have. So we've known for a while and been working on for almost 9 months getting together a 3,000-acre site. And we're going to get the thing certified hopefully by the end of the year. And that certification will put us on that list. Because before, if that mega project looked, we weren't even in the conversation. We didn't even get mentioned.
No matter how many acres you had. Yeah.
Because they're not going to come to you and say, go find the acres. What they want the certification process, the first thing we got to do is have an option on it.
Okay.
We got to know how much the site cost, and we got to be able to tell the prospect the site is this much. All right.
Gotcha.
And if you don't have an option on it, then the landowner can say, "Oh, well, yeah, I told you that last week, but now it's this much." But if you have an option on it, you've got a guaranteed price.
Absolutely.
Then you do a phase 1 environmental study, so that the prospect that's looking knows there's not any contamination on there they got to worry about. They're not going to find some surprise where there's hazardous waste buried out there or anything like that. Then you got to do a historical clearance. Make sure there's no Indian mounds or Civil War battlefield or something happened there. And then you got to do an endangered species clearance. Make sure there's not some strange beetle or bird or something that lives out there. And that even goes to plants, endangered plant species.
Wow. Wow.
And then you got to do a wetlands clearance to make sure there's no protected wetlands. And then you got to do all of the easements that go across the property. And then you got to identify all the utilities connected to the property. But the goal of all of this certification, you also do a geotechnical study where you bore down and see how the soil will hold up. But the goal of all this is so that the prospect can take this book on this site and they know there's no surprises.
Right, right.
If they say, hey, we want to go to Newport, or we want to go to Saline County, or we want to go to West Memphis, they look at that and they know they can walk on that site, and as soon as they sign the check, they can start building. Because there's nothing, they've got all those clearances. So that's why they ask for a certified site. So right now, we don't get mentioned.
Right.
Well,
we have no chance for that.
We have no chance for that. Now we have a chance. Our biggest site before this was 96 acres.
Right.
Our option allows us to buy 500-acre blocks of this big site. So anything between 500 and 3,000, we can buy, and we can qualify for those projects. So now we've got a 100-acre site that's certified. We'll have a 3,000-acre site that's certified that we can divide up and do 500, 1,000, or 1,500. And so it puts us in line for just about every single project that could come to the state, because our 100-acre site's also dividable. So if they need 10 acres, or they need 3,000 acres, or just about anything in between, we got. Because take the 3,000-acre site, we got to buy 500 acres, but if we needed somebody who needed 250 acres for a big project, we'd buy the whole 500.
Absolutely.
You know, and then we would let them have 250, and we would use the other 250 to recruit somebody else. Sure. In. So it just really gives us that range from 10 acres to 3,000 acres of land that's certified, that is ready for anybody, and then we come up in the conversation for just about 100% of the projects that would look at Arkansas based on land. Now, a few of them will say we need to be 50 miles from the
something else. Yeah, there may be
50 miles
something
from the
else.
Oklahoma border
Right,
or something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but if they don't have a restriction like that, then we set pretty for that, and it puts us in the conversation. And so that's why we're really excited. There's nothing. People have asked me, how much are we paying for the land? Well, right now we're not paying
anything.
Yeah,
right.
we have an option, and we don't pay for the land unless somebody comes and says,
I want the land.
I'm coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and if there's, and I tell you what, I don't mind paying for the land if we get 1,000 jobs.
That's right.
You know, I'll pay for it in a heartbeat.
Yes, sir.
So it's one of those tools, and basically, if you look at our stuff in economic development as a toolbox, that's one of the tools. Another one of the tools is Senator Bozeman has gotten an appropriations bill that designates the 4-lane highway as future I-57.
Right.
Now, we all call it the interstate. We
Absolutely.
all say, oh, out at the interstate, but it's not an interstate. It is a U.S. highway. It's interstate quality.
4-lane, yeah.
It's interstate quality. It's
Right.
not just 4-lane, but it's interstate quality,
Right.
but it's not an interstate.
Right.
So on these forms, when an industry's looking and they say, where's the nearest interstate?
Interstate.
I have to say it's 80 miles away.
Right.
Or 60 miles away. I guess 55 is the closest, or 80 miles away if you go down to 40 and 30. So, and that's not really accurate because we got interstate quality.
Sure.
But you got to say where's the nearest interstate.
Absolutely.
So it's going to help us a lot. But that's another one of those long-term. That's another tool. We'll have an interstate. We'll have the 3,000 acre site, and the 3,000 acre site will have 4.9 miles on the interstate, and it'll have an overpass where they can make an exit right into there. It's got a 500 kV line, which is the biggest electrical line you can get because it's the main line coming from the Newport power plant.
Wow.
It runs right by the site.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is. Yeah.
There's a major gas transmission line. They can get all the natural gas they want coming right by the site. They got the interstate. They got a state highway on the other side. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff, and it's going to be really, really good for us. Interstate, big site. We're working on a port authority. We're working on designating a port authority, and we've got some land that we can designate as an offloading facility. Part of getting the river dredged by the Corps of Engineers is having shippers of record.
Right.
Usually you get one big shipper of record. Well, Bungie was our shipper of record that we were trying to use. Well, now Bungie shut down all of their loading facilities on the White River.
Right.
So they're no longer a shipper of record. What we'd like to do is create a port authority and then apply for a grant to get a loading facility on the river. And then what we can do is take some of these sand companies, some of these gravel companies, some of the farmers, some of those, and aggregate them together. None of them would be big enough by themselves to be a shipper of record that would move the Corps. But if we could get 10 or 15 of them that would all say, you dredge this river and we'll ship from Newport off of their port, then we've got a shipper of record and we can move the Corps to start dredging again where we can ship stuff. And so that's another tool in our tool belt. So you just look at, we're doing a lot of these, we're doing a lot of the stuff that's for today, but then we're also doing a lot of stuff that's long-term economic development stuff that's building infrastructure that's going to help us a long time, generations in the future.
Obviously, it's a process, and sometimes processes are just what they are, and sometimes processes take a couple of years, sometimes processes take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're processing.
Well, and we work on both. And, you know, you got to work on the ones that are today. Like
Sure.
I'm talking, we've got a plant, an empty plant here, and I'm talking to somebody who wants it, and they just popped up, and they think they want it, and so we're working out the deals for them to get
Sure.
it. That's a quick process.
Absolutely.
But we also want to plant the infrastructure processes that give us more opportunity, even more opportunity in the future to do stuff and to have things. And so, I mean, you know, it would, if we could take that mega site and if we can use it to recruit a big whatever in here that would employ 600, 700, 1,000 people, that doesn't just transform Newport. That transforms
Northeast
our whole
Arkansas,
region.
yeah.
It'll transform our whole region. And so that's kind of what we're working on.
That's why they call it economic development.
That's right.
That's what. Quickly tell us about the Sonic and their move out to the old George Kell building.
My understanding is that there's a company that builds them, and so when you decide you want a new one, you put your name in and you get slotted, and then whenever it's they build this one, then they move to that one, and they move to that one. So whenever it's your turn, so they're in the queue.
They're in the slot. Yeah, they got a slot, don't they?
They got a slot, and so whenever they get finished and it's their time, I've heard anywhere from maybe late this fall to early next year.
Good deal.
They hope their turn comes up, but a lot of that too is weather dependent, because wherever they're building, they got to finish that one first before they move to the next one.
Absolutely.
So that's going well. For the downtown group, they're working on the stage and the stuff downtown. Drive by and see. You're going to
drive by downtown. It's amazing what's going on down here.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time to be in Newport.
It is that.
Yep.
John Chadwell, keep on developing our economics here, please, sir. You and the board, y'all do an outstanding job of representing all of us here in Newport, and Jackson County, Northeast Arkansas, and really around the world. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Well, thank you.
John Chadwell, NEDC, downtown Newport. On the Batesville Spotlight, and also in Newport, Mr. Ted Hall
Yes,
joins
sir.
us. How are you, Mr. Ted?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. White River Area Agency on Aging, and I have the good news to report that Mr. Hall had to spend 1 week in San Diego recently, and bless your heart's
It's
the only thing I can say.
tough-
I'm so sorry.
It's a tough job, but somebody had to do it.
Somebody had to go, didn't they?
Yeah.
Tell us about your conference. It's a huge conference for you
Yes,
guys,
this
and
is-
several of you went.
You bet. Several of our crew goes, and the thing about us going to these conferences is that it really puts us right where we need to be as far as what's happening on the national level, because what happens there really will eventually get down to us. So there's all kinds of meetings that go on when we go to the National Area Agency on Aging meetings, and they have different seminars that we can attend, whether it be about senior centers, or it's how we can perform our services better here. And so we hear a lot of speakers, we attend a lot of workshops, but basically it just helps us be better informed of what's happening in the nation, and then how we can break that down to here at White River Area Aging. Of course, we serve a 10-county area.
Sure.
And right now, David, we have over 800 employees that serve our folks out in the 10-county area. And we talk about a lot of different programs, but our biggest program is in-home services.
Right.
And we have probably around 650 out even this morning as we tape this. There are folks that are in people's homes where they cook and clean and do chores for them. And of course, the biggest thing that we need the people to understand is that if they have a concern or a question about seniors, then they just need to give us a call, and we'll set them up with the right people they need to see. And sometimes it's hard for us to explain all of this here on the spotlight here. But the main emphasis that we want, and we do get a lot of feedback from this show, and we appreciate, David, you guys helping us with this. But if they have questions, they can call us here at our office at 870-612-3000. And then we're the central office here, and then if there's a question in Woodruff County or Jackson County or whatever, then we can get them hooked up with the right people. And the main thing is that we want all the business we can get, but we have plenty of business. So when we come to somebody, we try to offer them the services that best fits their needs. Right. And if we can't do it, then we may send them some other location or some other group that can handle them. So the big thing is that we work with seniors, we work with their children, and I've mentioned this before, David, is that lots of times after a holiday, big holiday, is that's when we get our calls, because the kids have come home and things are not quite the same, and so they say, Mom, Dad may need some help. So we do that, and of course, we have our assisted living here in Batesville. We call that Eagle Mountain Assisted Living, and so we always are open for people to come and visit that, and sometimes people are not interested in coming right now, but they may down the road, because we do have a waiting list, and so they can get on the waiting list and those kind of things. So it's just a good thing to think and plan. And that's really probably what we ought to be doing in our lives. Is as we get older, things change, and so if we can have some of these things kind of worked out beforehand, then it just makes things better. So we're excited about being here. We're busy, and we want to keep serving the folks that that we serve in these 10 county areas and keep doing a good job. We've been around almost
Long time.
37 years,
Long time.
and we want to continue to do that. So really today is just kind of reminding folks if they have questions about seniors and whatever it is, then well, we're here available.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Going back to that national convention. Not to throw you a curveball, but right. We're in Batesville in these 10 county areas, and we serve a certain clientele. Obviously, I mean, are there some differences around the country?
Sure.
I mean, we have to do it our special way in this area compared to way maybe they do it in Phoenix, Arizona. Or,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, basically, everybody does it. Even in the state of Arkansas, the area agencies, we serve a 10 county area. Then there's 7 other folks that do what we do.
Okay.
And lots of them offer different services.
Okay.
And some of them do in-home services, and some do not. Some do in-home services and skilled. So it just depends on the area, and that's the way it is the rest of parts of the country. But I will say this, that Arkansas is really, when we go there, they know about White River Area Agency on Aging on a national level. And that's not because of me, that's because of the rich history that's been here.
A great organization, no
right.
doubt.
And so they have been, the folks in the past here have been leaders in the national group, and we're starting to kind of get in there. But Dave, I was telling you beforehand, you know, I'm still learning about this culture, and my background's been education, of course, but it's still about serving people, though.
That's what I was going to say, and that's what you do best, isn't
right.
it?
So that's we're excited about that, and we're going to continue to serving people here in our 10 county area.
Mr. Ted Hall, it's always my pleasure to get to come in and visit with you. You've always got a smile on your face. And congratulations on the new, not necessarily new health kick that you're on, but you're eating more healthy, and you're maybe doing a little exercise.
Absolutely.
You've dropped a few pounds, and you're looking good.
Yeah.
Feeling better?
Feeling much better, much better.
better.
So I'm really pleased. So
good to see you, my
friend. Good to see you, sir.
friend.
Thank you.
Mr. Ted Hall, White River Area Agency on Aging. This is Mr. Tommy Bain at Farmer's Tire Mart, downtown Newport, Arkansas. My friend, how are you, sir?
Doing fine, Mr. Black.
We filmed on a nice, beautiful, warm afternoon in early July.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what did you say we got coming over here?
There's a cloud in the southwest.
Yes, sir, and it looks like it's coming to the northeast, doesn't it?
Okay. Might be a chance of rain.
Chance of rain wouldn't be bad. I don't think anybody would complain too much about a little rain shower at this stage, would you?
No, well, if they did, you know, it's all right.
That's all right. It doesn't matter, you know, whether it is. Not a lot we knew, is there? Now, what we could do to handle this thing right here is if we're filming, just get an umbrella. You know,
yeah, or just enjoy it.
Enjoy the rain.
Yeah.
Been a little warm, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Had a hot June, but I think it's going to be okay. We're going to. It does that every year. Every year about this time it gets warm.
It gets warm, yes, and you know, we really should enjoy it, because I remember back in the winter, it was cold.
And it does that every year at about that time, doesn't it?
Yes.
I think
And
you rather have warm, you rather have cold?
I'd rather have it about 70 to 75 degrees.
Absolutely, I had to.
But,
I know when I get cold, I can't warm up, but when I get hot, I can cool down.
Yes.
I guess that's an age thing.
Yeah,
I used to do that.
Probably got something to do with it.
I guarantee you it does. Guarantee. Now, I saw something the other day about you and Miss Linda Bain. Saw a picture, and y'all were having a little celebration of some kind, or kind of share that with me.
We had the girls put it all together, and it's a 45th wedding anniversary celebration, and had it out at our church at Union Hill Missionary Baptist Church, and out nestled out there in the beautiful hills of the foothills of Ozark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We had a lot of friends that came in, and family came from all the way from Pennsylvania.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
And but we had a really enjoyable day. Just couldn't beat it.
Well, here's what I want to ask you. If that's a 45, so you married Linda when she was 8?
Somewhere along in there.
Sure were robbing the cradle there. She was awfully young when y'all got married.
Yeah, but I had the opportunity to raise her like I wanted
That's
her.
exactly right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. we talk a lot here about love and family, and because it means a lot to us, and talk about the Christian values of life, and but we also talk about tires because that's what we do. Summertime's tough on our tires.
Summertime is extremely tough on our tires. The heat that we feel standing here is, well, today it's roughly 88 to 90,
Sure.
90 degrees,
Yeah.
but out there, that pavement gets over 100.
It does that.
And on a hot day like a 98 or 102 day, the actual temperature, that pavement will get to 130, 140.
Yeah.
And that's, 130 degrees. They say you can get third-degree burns from
Right.
it. And that tire's in constant contact with it out on the road, and then automatically, as the tire rolls, friction
Sure.
causes more heat to build
Sure.
up. So I don't know how much heat they can stand,
Right.
but there is a point that they go boom.
Right. Sure.
They go
Sure.
boom.
Get a little too hot.
And so
But there's some things that we can do to help with our tires, such as, air pressure and things like that.
air pressure. That's the key to keeping the tire in service. Air
How
pressure.
often should a guy check his air pressure in his tires?
No longer than once a month.
Okay.
And
So at least once a month.
at least once a month. And the manufacturers of the vehicles put a little placard on the doorpost and the driver's door,
Right.
the doorpost that tells you that the manufacturer's recommendation for the air pressure.
Right. Gotcha.
And if you go by that recommendation, you won't go wrong.
Right.
The air pressure is utmost important, and because you let a tire run low, it generates more heat.
Right.
More heat.
Yeah.
And heat is the downfall of most all tires.
That is that. And and speaking of the heat, and let's talk a little bit about what it does to the engine of a car. I mean, talk about to the car itself.
There's inside the cooling system of an automobile on an engine, there is a electronic field,
Right.
and those electrodes build up. Heat, extreme heat, causes more electrodes to build up, and they attach themselves to the walls of the cylinders on the inside of the engine. And when that coolant gets low, or when that coolant gets old,
Right. Yeah.
gets a lot of miles on it, then it breaks down
Okay.
and causes more to build up and attach themselves to the cylinder walls inside the engine, and that causes an engine to overheat. It becomes an insulation to the cylinder walls that can't cool down.
Right.
They
Absolutely.
can't cool down. So
We need to check. You need to check coolant levels. You need to check belts. You need to check hoses. You need to check all that right now. I mean, especially if you're going on vacation.
absolutely, check those belts, and if they're stress cracked just running around town here, driving to and from work, what have you, then those belts need to be changed.
Right.
Hoses get the same situation; they crack, and a lot of times it's from the inside out. You can't see them. So about every 24 months at the longest,
Okay.
those things need to be looked at pretty good to determine their usefulness anymore, because hoses crack most of the time from inside out,
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
and
Can't see
a
'em
lot
yet.
of times you can see them from they crack from the outside, but most of the time from inside out. And coolant breaks down 20,000 miles after 20,000, 20 to 25,000. that stuff should be flushed out.
Flushed out. Go
Flushed
with
out
smoke.
with, and put new coolant in it.
Right.
Coolant and water mixture. And a lot of preventative maintenance on these vehicles. And I know that, well, that's just another expense
Sure.
that they have to do, but it's necessary.
It's a necessary expense. The
Absolutely.
small expense saves you a big expense later on, doesn't it?
Absolutely. You know, these automobiles are not cheap. You know, you pay anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 for a pretty nice automobile
Sure.
these days, and little preventative maintenance can save you big bucks.
Yeah, you might spend yourself
And-
50 or $100. It might save you 500 or 1,000 bucks.
Or more.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. But we do it all here at Farmers Tire Mart. We'll take care of you.
We do it, and our guys, they like to do that kind of work on these hot days, and the hot car
Sure,
pulls up.
sure.
You know, you can't just touch it right then.
Right, they
It
gotta let
has
it cool
to-
off.
It
Yeah,
has to
gotta let it cool off.
Has to have some cool down time. That's just like my wife. You know, when she gets hot, she has to have some cool down time.
That's right. Gotta relax a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Let a
cool.
little steam off.
Let it
Let a
cool.
little steam off.
Got to have that cool down
Yes,
time.
sir. Yes, sir.
But automobiles are this preventative maintenance can save you big bucks down the road. And these tires, you know, on the hot highway, they're subject to fail.
Absolutely.
So, and you need to get them checked.
Come in, get them checked here at
checked.
Farmers Tire Mart. We do that. We'll check them for you. If you need new
Absolutely.
tires, we'll recommend new tires. If you have
Absolutely.
service, we'll recommend service to you.
Absolutely.
We try to make folks happy here at Farmers Tire
That's
Mart.
right. That's our main objective. And we always want to treat people like we want to be treated.
Absolutely.
We don't want to ever try to sell you something you don't need.
Mr. Tommy Bain, it's always my pleasure. We're at Farmers Tire Mart, 1501 Malcolm Ware.
Where the rubber meets the road.
Good to see you, my friend.
And it's my privilege.
Let's continue on with more of our show.
Welcome. Good afternoon. We want to welcome our guests and our residents to the 2016 Lindley Beauty Pageant. You know, we've got the most beautiful women. You know, whoever wins this pageant today will represent us at district. And you know, we got the most beautiful women here at Lindley, right? All right. Okay. So we're going to start with contestant number 1. Without further ado, let's get this ball rolling. Contestant number 1 is Miss Nessie Burleson. Oh, aren't you beautiful today, Nessie? But you always are. Love your back sparkle, print skirt, red earrings, and got your nails done in that fabulous pink. Love it, love it. Give Miss Nessie Burleson a big hand. Okay. Miss Nessie, would you like to disclose your age?
Huh?
Would you like to disclose your age?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and tell us, baby.
I'm 73.
Nessie is 73 years old. Isn't that wonderful? Nessie, if you had a famous person that you would like to meet sometime or have met, what would you like to say to that person? And who would that be?
And I love Jesus.
She loves Jesus. Isn't that wonderful? Miss Nessie, we're so proud that you're our resident here at Lindley. Contestant number 1, Nessie Burleson. Contestant number 2, Miss Gladys Cullum. She is She's dressed in a melon color laced dress, and that is such a beautiful thing. She's got cross earrings on today, and she looks very fabulous today, but she always does. Miss Cullum, would you like to disclose your age today?
39. 90.
She is 90 years old. That is great. And how many children do you have, Miss Cullum?
3 living, I had 1 dead.
Okay. You have grandchildren?
Yeah, 9 of them, and
Wow.
about 11 great-grandchildren.
Oh, that is wonderful. Such a blessing. What are some of the hobbies that you like?
Reading, working my puzzle book. I went through a bunch of them.
She loves her puzzle books. I know. I've seen you, do those every day. And if you were to meet a famous person, who would you want to meet, and what would you say to them?
Burt Reynolds.
Woohoo! Burt Reynolds. Oh, wow, that is great. And what would you say to Burt Reynolds?
Come to supper with me.
And you've already told us some of your hobbies. So Miss Cullum is contestant number 2. Give her a big hand. Oh, it's hot up here. Contestant number 3, Thelma Donovan. Give her a big hand. Hello, Miss Donovan. How are you today? Isn't her outfit precious? Black with her leopard print. Oh, and her hair is just gorgeous today, and I love her red earrings. That really goes well with that. Would you like to disclose your age?
88.
88. Isn't that wonderful? And can you tell us how many children you have?
2.
2 children. Do you have any grandchildren or great grandchildren?
I've got 2 grandchildren and 2 children.
That is great. And what are some of your hobbies?
Working, I guess, in the garden and things. In Canada, putting them in freezers.
Oh, that is wonderful. And also, if you have met a famous person, who would that famous person be, and what would you say to him or her?
That would be Elvis Presley.
And what would you say to Elvis?
I tell him I just love him. And I just sing him. And all that good stuff that he does.
Oh, that is fabulous. Contestant number 3, Miss Thelma Donovan. Give her a big hand. Contestant number 4, Miss Mamie James. She is dressed. Miss Mamie is dressed in a beautiful emerald green gown, floor length, and she has her jewelry matching. Isn't that beautiful? Miss Mamie, good to have you here today.
Thank you.
Would you like to disclose your age? Would you like to disclose your age?
I'll be 80 in November.
80. Fabulous, fabulous. And how many children do you have?
I had 7.
7. Isn't that wonderful? And how many grandchildren do you have?
8.
8 wonderful grandchildren. And what hobbies do you like, Miss Mamie?
Reading books and watching TV.
That is so true. She reads a lot of books. All right. If you were to meet a famous person, who would that be, and what would you say to him or her?
I would like to meet Jenna. Jenna. The boss.
Oh, Jenna. Oh, well, Jenna. And what would you say to Jenna?
I think she's great.
We do too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is so marvelous. We do too. We certainly do. And give Miss Mamie James a hand. She's contestant number 4. Yay. Whoa. All right. Moving right along. Contestant number 5 is Miss Carolyn Johnson. Oh, Miss Carolyn is dressed in a beautiful ball gown, black sequins, and a white inset in it. Beautiful, beautiful jewelry. Lovely. Give her another hand. All right. Miss Carolyn, would you like to disclose your age?
58.
58 years old. Isn't that wonderful? And I know you have children. How many children do you have? One child. Wonderful. Do you have any great grandchildren or grandchildren yet?
Yes.
How many do you have?
Yes.
How many do you have?
4.
4. Great. Okay. How about your hobbies? What are you interested in?
I like to dance.
Oh, I do too. Oh, a lady after my own heart. Love it. And if you were to meet a famous person, who would you want to meet, and what would you say to that person?
I don't know.
I know she loves music. So what music star?
All kinds.
She does. She listens to all types of music and loves it. All right, give Miss Carolyn Johnson, contestant number 5, a hand. Thank you, baby. All right, contestant number 6, Miss Esther Manis. Give her a big hand. Miss Esther, you are so beautiful today in your pink outfit. We just love that. And with all your sparkles, and you know I love sparkles too. And would you like to disclose your age, Miss Esther? Your age.
What do you want to say?
How old you are.
I don't want to say.
Oh, she does not want to say her age. All right. That's okay, baby. You don't have to. All right. Miss Esther, how many children do you have?
You have to talk right in there.
Baby, how many children do you have? How many children do you have?
Am I enjoying it?
Oh, yeah. Are you enjoying it?
Am I enjoying it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I am.
Wonderful. And tell them your hobbies. Miss Esther's going to tell you her hobbies. She's got some wonderful hobbies.
Reading is one, and I read my Bible every day. Also, I'm a poet. I write poetry.
Sing. And Miss Esther also sings. She is one of our volunteers, and she sings for one of our activities, and she is very good at that. Okay. And Miss Esther, if you met a famous person, who would that be? If you met a famous person, who would that be, baby?
I make you perfect.
Okay. I think you've had enough, right? Okay. Miss Esther number 6, give her a big hand. Okay. Contestant number 7. Miss Minnie McGinnis, give her a big hand. Miss Minnie is dressed in a ivory color ball gown. Isn't that beautiful with sparkles? Miss Minnie, you look so gorgeous today, but you always do. Would you like to tell us your age today?
My age is 89.
89, isn't that wonderful? Okay. Miss Minnie, how many children do you have? 5 children. Do you have grandchildren?
Yes, I do. I'm not sure how many I got.
She's got so many, she's lost count. Isn't you are really blessed, aren't you? What are some of the hobbies that you like to do, Miss Minnie?
When you name it, and I like to do it.
All right, you got it going on. And if you were to meet a famous person, who would that be, and what would you say to that person?
I'm not sure as far as whether it would be.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, good answer, because you must want to meet a lot of them.
Yeah, Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley, too. We are really a fan of Elvis Presley around here.
Who wouldn't like to see him?
Say that again, baby.
Who wouldn't like to see him?
That's right. That's right. Okay, contestant number 7, Miss Minnie McGinnis. Give her a hand. Thank you, Miss Minnie. Good job. All right, contestant number 8, Miss Alice Posey. Give her a big hand. Miss Alice is dressed gorgeously in her brown colors today. Okay, I was telling how gorgeous you are today. Oh, you're welcome. All right. Would you like to tell us your age today? Would you like to tell us your age today, baby?
82 years old.
82. Isn't that wonderful?
And I'm going to get to be 100.
Yes, she is. We're going to make sure you do, too. How many children do you have, Miss Posey?
I have 3, but one's dead.
Okay. We hate to hear that, baby.
Boys.
Boys. All boys.
1 girl and 2 boys.
1 girl and 2 boys. That's excellent. Okay. What are some of the hobbies that you like, Miss Posey?
Quilting, sewing, visiting people.
She is. She's one of our social bugs. She gets around. She gets around. All right. If you would like to meet a famous person, who would that be, and what would you say to that person?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Oh, you got so many you want to meet. Well,
I guess my nephew, he's a singer in band music.
that is great. So you got some music folks in your family. That is great. Give Miss Alice Posey a good hand. Number 8, our contestant number 8. Okay. You ready? Good job. Good job. Contestant number 9, Miss Catherine Torian. Miss Torian, doesn't she look gorgeous in her black sparkles? Ooh, I love that. Uh-oh. Miss Torian, would you like to tell us your age?
I'm 95.
Oh, whoa-ho. That is great, great, great. Miss Torian, do you have children?
No, I wasn't blessed with them. I had surgery when I was young, but I have raised a lot of other children.
Oh, we need folks like that in this world to take care of kids that need us, and that is just wonderful. That's very commendable, and we really like that. How about some of the hobbies that you like?
I love to sew. I love to cook, and other things too.
All right, she's a versatile person there. Okay, if you were to meet a famous person, who would you want to meet, and what would you want to tell them?
Offhand, I can't think of anyone so far. I met Rockefeller way back.
Whoa.
That was a privilege.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. Give contestant number 9, Miss Catherine Torian, a big hand. Thank you. She's got that wave going on too, y'all. All right. Contestant number 10, Miss Pauline Williams. Please give her a big hand too. Oh, she's got those sparkles going on too. All right, Miss Pauline. Would you like to tell us your age?
What?
Would you like to tell us your age, baby?
Oh, I'm 95.
95. Oh, that is marvelous. Miss Pauline, how many children do you have?
3.
3 wonderful children. And I know you've got grandchildren and great-grands. Do you know how many you have? Oh, she done lost count too. She got so many. Wow. And what are some of the hobbies you like, Miss Pauline?
What?
Some of the hobbies that you like?
Oh, go fishing. Going dancing.
Ooh, another dancer. Ooh, I love that. Well, give Miss Pauline, contestant number 10, another big hand. Thank you, Miss Pauline. You did a wonderful job. And we would like to introduce last year's queen. She's a 2015 queen, Miss Joanne McCulley. And she served us well for the year. She'll be crowning our new queen. So we're going to give the judges a few minutes and we're going to find out who our queen is going to be. And we'll have a first and second runner-up. This has been a beautiful pageant. Let's just give everybody that helped us get this pageant together a big hand. And I just want to say, we have such a good time at Lindley. We have a lot of activities, and I'm the new director of activities. I guess you can tell I'm a little new, but I'm getting it. I'm doing well. Megan and I, and we miss Sandy, but she's doing her thing now in her garden and everything. But Megan, she and I are doing well to get our activities together, and we think we have a good program. Ooh, here we come. We have got results. Oh. This is really fabulous. And that was pretty quick, girls. Oh, and we've got to be sure and thank our judges. Give our judges a big hand.
Let me take it.
Yeah.
We'll thank our judges, Amanda Reynolds from Newport Independent, Mara Goodman from Harris Hospital, and Cherie Moore from Cherie Emporium. So thank you today. But we're going to start out with our second runner-up, and that will be Mamie James.
Yay!
All right, and now for our first runner-up, Miss Minnie McGinnis.
I'm going to bring her chair.
Sure do look pretty, Miss Minnie. And our 2016 Miss Lindley Health and Rehab Center is Miss Catherine Fournier. We're going to let last year's queen crown her.
That'll be that.
You're about 4.
All right, there is our 2016 Miss Lily Melvin winner.
Sherry Hanley and, of course, Margaret Gates, and what a beautiful day at Lindley. And, Sherry, I just want to ask you, we do a lot of great things out here for our residents. Man, this was super today.
It was. You know, of all the parties we have filmed and events we filmed, we've never filmed our annual Ladies Beauty Pageant, Miss Lindley Beauty Pageant. So today we did that, and it was amazing. We had so many beautiful ladies. They were all beautiful. I know it was a very, very hard decision for the judges. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to have been a judge. I would not have. They were all beautiful. We do have a winner, Miss Catherine Torian. She will go on now to Mountain Home in the district beauty pageant. And we're excited about that already. My head's already turning about the pageant. So, but it was a fun day. It was an elegant day at Lindley. It was a very elegant day at Lindley.
And Margaret, I mean, outstanding. Margaret's just been here several months, and when you get that assignment of getting that, you get that microphone, and you're going to be talking in front of some people, and then we're also going to put you on a wireless microphone, and you talk to a lot more people. Yeah. You were wonderful today. I thought you were just outstanding.
Thank you, and the ladies were wonderful. They've been excited for weeks since we set the date, and we've been getting dresses together and who was going to do whose makeup and jewelry and everything, and they have been so excited and having so much fun getting ready, and all the participants were just gorgeous today, but they are gorgeous every day.
And this is something that we do, but we do lots of activities throughout the course of the year. We're doing stuff daily here.
Daily. I mean, just because we film once a month with you doesn't mean that's the only big thing we do once a month. We do something big every day. Well, every day is a big day at Lindley, all day long. You know, we just get to film it once a month.
Congratulations on another beautiful day. The beauty pageant. I'm like you, should have been doing it a long time ago.
And we will.
Lindley Health and Rehab Center. Y'all know where we're located on Lindley Drive. And another great job by you ladies. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Let's continue on with more of the show.
This is my friend Andy May, and he's going to talk with us today on the Merchants and Planners Bank segment, but we're not going to talk about Merchants and Planners Bank. We're going to talk about M&P Insurance and Investment. Andy May, good to see you, my friend.
Good morning.
Former Newport Greyhound football player, and I
right.
love talking to Greyhound football players. 69, was that correct? What was your number?
Number 69.
Pretty good, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm
I don't know how
good.
you remember that.
I'm just good. I'm just good.
That way, if I flipped over, I was still number
You
69.
sure were, weren't you?
Yeah.
You sure were.
Stand on my head.
We were visiting with Philip Brown before we came in, another Greyhound football player, and just nice to have guys that elected to stay in the community or come back to our community and do great things for our community, just like you're doing. And,
I know several that are coming back now.
Is that right? Good deal. Good deal. Well, we want to talk a little bit about some health insurance changes that are happening statewide or fixing to happen statewide. You've got all the information, and let's just get right at the subject. Changes coming. Tell us about some of these changes.
This is the most recent information. Now, this is all subject to change because the state of Arkansas has to file. In fact, I think the filing day was today, actually. They have to file, and it has to be approved by CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
And we're filming at the end of June, 1st of July.
Yeah. So they should have that determination back by mid-September.
Okay.
So if everything goes through, then this will be the way it's going to be.
Okay.
Basically, anyone right now that has a ACA compliant plan, AKA Obamacare. I mean, that's a big common term that everybody uses. If you have a plan through the state of Arkansas, through the Department of Health and Human Services, there will be some changes.
Okay.
A lot of people that currently are receiving that plan at a zero cost will now have to pay a monthly premium, a monthly amount to be able to have the insurance.
Okay.
How we can help with that is basically most of it should be able to be done with just a phone call.
Okay.
Call me. We can go on the system. We can look everybody up, see where they are, and then I can help guide you into what you should do, give you your options.
Okay.
And you can make your decision based on that.
So the state of Arkansas is simply saying that we're going to change, and obviously you say everybody that's got it, quote, not free, but there's no cost to them.
Right.
There's going to be a premium now.
Not for everyone, but
for a lot of folks.
Right now, there's around 300,000 people in Arkansas that are enrolled in a plan like this. Right now, it's either called the Healthcare Independence Program or the private option. That is the two common terms. It's actually Medicaid expansion. The state of Arkansas, when they decided to expand Medicaid, they didn't want to put 300,000 more people into the Medicaid system because it was going to put a big financial burden on Medicaid, and they were going to be way underserved. So Arkansas was actually a pioneer in developing this Healthcare Independence Program, also known as a private option. Kind of set a precedent for states all over the nation. I mean, we were the first to do it, and our legislatures need to be commended for doing that. It's actually worked out really good.
Well, talk about that a little bit. You say private option, and you hear that term a lot. What exactly does that mean, private option?
Okay, so what that means is you actually are eligible for Medicaid based on your household income and the size of your family. But Arkansas didn't want to put you on Medicaid because it was going to cripple the Medicaid system, and you wouldn't be able to get access to the care that you needed because, I mean, there's so many different, stipulations on the Medicaid thing. So the legislature said that they're going to take the money that the federal government's giving them for Medicaid expansion, and they're buying private insurance plans for people. Now, the private option term that comes into that, well, there's 3 companies in the state of Arkansas, actually 4 this year. There'll be 3 next year. One of them's getting out. But there are 3 companies that offer a plan. Okay, you have the option to choose one of those 3 companies, okay? There's actually 4 different plans among those 3 companies.
Right, I get you.
That's your option. That's your private option. The state pays the insurance premium directly to the insurance carrier, to that company. And it has been that, if you qualified for that type of program, you didn't have a monthly premium to pay, but you had for some people that have a co-payment, if they went to the doctor, they'd pay $8, or if it's a specialist, it was $10. They go to the pharmacy, they pick up medication, it's $4 or $8. That original plan was done back in 2014. And it started January 1st of 2014, and they only approved it through the end of 2016. And that was when Mike Beebe was governor. Well, when Asa Hutchinson gets elected, Democrat, Republican, he realized that we couldn't just flip the switch and say, okay, 300,000 Arkansans aren't going to have health insurance, because not only would it have crippled the citizens, the hospitals and the doctors that are getting compensation now that they have never got before. Because a lot of people would go in the emergency room, rack up a big bill, couldn't pay it, wouldn't pay it, whatever, so the hospital had to write all that off. The doctors were writing it off. So now they're getting compensation. And if you'll notice, I mean, even here in Newport, we've got stuff popping up everywhere. More doctors' offices. We've got representation from NEA. We've got White River. Now they're building another clinic. We've got St. Bernard's has got, and we got Unity. It's a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Unity definitely is our number one. But I mean, it's everybody's wanting a piece of the pie. So,
absolutely.
Because they now can get paid. They couldn't get paid before. So, the governor, legislators, they figured out, we can't just say, look, we're not going to do this anymore. We've got to come up with something. And there was a lot of discussion, and I mean, meetings in Little Rock, and they voted no and voted no and voted yes. They finally come to agreement, and they came up with this program. It's called Arkansas Works. And I'm not going to go into detail about Arkansas Works because it's forever. But basically, if you are eligible for this plan right now, the private option healthcare independence program, you should still be eligible for Arkansas Works, but you may have to pay a premium based on your income, and it can be as much as 2% of your household income. That's the goal. And a lot of people, and I've got I've written about 500 of these, so since it all started.
Right.
And a lot of people come to me and they say, we don't mind to pay a premium. We want to pay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But they couldn't because there wasn't a way to do it. But now there will be a way that you can do that.
Well, I think the most important thing here in the message that obviously we're trying to get across is that change is coming. Not only the change is coming, but you're going to have a lot of questions. You're going to have a lot of questions. And I've always said if you're dealing with the government and it's a government organization, you don't get to sit down and really visit with the government.
Right.
You can sit down and visit with Andy May.
That's right.
You can sit down and get your questions answered, and there are always lots of questions. And it's always nice to be able to sit down and visit with some experts. And so,
I hate to call myself an expert, David, but I'm probably the closest thing that you can find.
You are an expert in this field.
Yeah,
but because you know more than any of us know.
Right.
Yeah, any of us know.
And so I have worked hard to do it, to get there.
A lot of training. How do we get in touch with you? What do we have to do if we have questions about this change coming up?
870-523-6771. That's our number at the office.
Right.
And now we're at 833 Malcolm now, but we are moving. We have purchased a building on the corner of Laurel and Front Street, which is right across the street from the post office.
Right.
Was the years ago the Firestone building, and then it was Mid-South Vending, and anyway, M&P Insurance has purchased that building. We've made about a little over $600,000 capital investment, and it's getting really close. We should be in there by hopefully mid-August, 1st September at the latest. So,
good deal.
Good deal. Well, we're excited about we're excited about our new location. Our current location, nobody really has. There's a few people that have offices, but we're kind of just stuck out in the middle.
Right.
Everybody's going to have their own office. It's going to be
private,
up to date with the latest technology. We've got a lot of exciting things coming with that deal. So,
if you have any questions and you need to talk to Andy, call him at that number 6771
523-6771,
and he'll answer or try to answer. He'll get you an answer to any of those questions that you might have when it comes to health care. My friend, it's always my pleasure to get to see you.
You bet.
And I talk with Andy about, I always say this, I always ask him about his playing weight. He says he's right at his high school playing weight, and that's good.
I'm maybe one little thing here. If your car breaks down, do you take it to your dentist, or do you go to somebody that knows how to work on cars?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, if you need help with health insurance, come see an insurance agent.
That's right.
Don't go talk to somebody that's just out there. So,
Andy May, M&P Insurance and Investments, Newport, Arkansas. And now let's continue on with more of the Business Spotlight. Unity Health, we get the great opportunity to visit with Dr. Guilford Dudley. And we go, what? I thought Dr. Dudley had retired. Well, he has retired, but he's back. He's back. How are you, my friend?
Doing fine.
Good to see you, Doc. Tell us a little bit about coming out of retirement as such and just exactly what you're doing.
Well, I enjoy medicine, and I enjoy reading and thinking about it, and I miss it. I have missed it.
I bet you have.
And so someone got the idea that I might be able to help the residents, internal medicine residents, and in internal medicine as outpatient work. And that's what I've been doing the past month, and I am enjoying that.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
Continuity Care Clinic here at Unity Health. We're at the Harris Medical Clinic, and it's a very good program. We have doctors that are here on Thursday, and we have other doctors that are here on Tuesday, and you're in charge of those doctors. What's your responsibility with them?
Well, they see the patient and evaluate it, and then they present the patient to me, and I go in and we all sit and talk about the problem.
There's no doubt you're excited to be back.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that.
Well, let me ask you this, Doc. After retirement, I don't know how long you retired, but it wasn't very long. You spent your whole life in this business, and I've interviewed you on occasion or two, and you seem to be so bright, and you just lighten up when you talk about medicine. Obviously dear to your heart.
Well, that's true. I found that even being retired, I was practicing medicine on the golf course.
That's right.
On the telephone.
You weren't getting paid for it, though, were you?
but still,
Yes,
you
sir.
enjoy doing things like that and for friends.
Well, I appreciate you coming back. All the folks in Newport, Jackson County, across the state of Arkansas and Mid-South, glad you're back. Glad you're back with Unity Health, and we'll talk to a couple of your interns. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Dr. Guilford Dudley.
Thank you.
We get to meet a couple of our, I guess, interns is what we call you guys and girls.
That's close enough.
Tell us who you are.
My name is Kristen Lyle. I'm originally from Farmerville, Louisiana, but no one knows where that is, so I'll say 20 miles south of El Dorado.
Everybody knows where that is.
Everybody knows where El Dorado is. I went to college at Louisiana Tech University in Ruston, went over to Mississippi for med school, and then I've stopped in Arkansas, hopefully for good.
Good deal,
So.
good deal. Well, welcome to Unity Health and welcome
Thank
to
you.
Newport, Arkansas. Now, Kristen, I got to ask this. Why medicine? Why medicine, and when did you decide along the way, I'd like to be in medicine?
I decided my freshman year of high school, and that was honestly, I was either going to be an English teacher or a doctor, and I liked biology more than English, so
Wow.
decided to go to med school. It was just as black and white as that, I guess.
guarantee you.
But yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your 4 weeks and what you've learned, and a little bit about the program, about what you're doing.
Man, the learning curve is ridiculous. It's like starting med school all over
Yeah,
again. But
yeah.
it's been a great experience. Everybody's been so welcoming and so willing to help with anything. I mean, computer problems. Dr. Dudley's been great helping with diagnosis and how to treat people, and he's been an excellent teacher. We've really been blessed. We have
Yeah,
great support.
He's a good one.
He's a good one.
He is a good
He's a
one.
good. I got lucky.
Well, welcome to Newport, Arkansas, and I
Thank
hope
you.
you stay here as a long one.
Well, thank you. I
Kristen
appreciate
Lyle,
it.
and she's one of the interns. We've got more coming up. We continue on with the interns at the continuity is so hard for me to say, care clinic here at Unity Health. And young lady, your name is?
Hello, I'm Dr. Tracy Christofic.
Good to meet you, girl. Good to meet you. Tell us a little bit about you, and just like we heard, where are you from? Where'd you go to school? So on and so forth.
I'm from Jefferson City, Missouri, and I started at college at Truman State University in Kirksville, and I also went to medical school in Kirksville at Kirksville College of Osteopathic Medicine.
And again, like I always like to ask, medicine, you get in medicine for reasons. Kind of tell us when you decided and why medicine.
I decided in high school that I wanted to go into medicine because I like solving problems, and medicine is all about someone coming in with some sort of medical problem and doing tests and figuring out a diagnosis, and I enjoy that process.
When you decided that, was there anything else that you thought maybe that you might want to do, or was it just kind of cut out?
It was pretty cut out, cut and dry. I wanted to do medicine.
Yeah. How's Newport, Arkansas for you?
I haven't seen a lot of Newport.
Right.
I've come down here for clinics, and
Okay.
I've been enjoying it so far.
Now tell me, you ladies are there with Dr. Dudley. How many interns are there with him?
We have 2 interns on Tuesdays and 2 on Thursdays,
Okay.
and then we have 2 upper levels on both those times as well.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Y'all see patients, and you, like Dr. Dudley said, you get to get with him, and he's such a great guy, and I know y'all have already learned that. He's not only a wonderful doctor, he's a wonderful person. But
It's very, very helpful.
Absolutely. So medicine's pretty good, and everything's going fine, and old Missouri girl comes down here to Arkansas and just learn how to talk like us Southern folk.
Exactly, that's what we're doing.
Tracy, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us. And it's such a great program, folks. You know, we talk about it a lot here on Cable 15 TV, is the Continuity Care Clinic and what's going on at Unity Healthcare Harris Medical Center. It's fabulous what we've got going on here. Folks, jump on board. My hospital of choice, Unity Health. We are at the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue with Miss Jan Jackson Marison. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Wonderful. Had a great visit prior to getting on the air here, talking about a lot of things. Talking about technology and today's technology, and you were talking about upgrading some of your equipment and a chore in itself. Tell us a little bit about what we're upgrading here.
It is a huge job. Of course, with Jackson Griffin Insurance Company, which we take care of everybody's final expense needs and prearrangements and everything like that, we have it on an old 36 and are now having to, that's obsolete.
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 Out
You
of
can't
date.
get parts because everything on it works perfectly.
Right.
Except when one thing breaks, you can't fix it.
Then you're finished.
You're finished. So now we've got to upgrade to what they call an AS400, and that's exactly what I know about it. It's called an AS400. somebody besides me, and that somebody else would be Rhett, and Eddie Bonds have to work on getting the two systems to conjoin together, and we'll run them side by side and be sure all of our numbers are good, and then we'll be AS400 and good for
Good
40
to go.
years.
That's right.
That's
and
what
then
they promised.
And then if a part happens to go out, we can get a
get
new
a new
part.
part.
That's right.
We can get a
and
new part.
that leads us into talking about your dad in the early days. In using equipment. I mean, talk a little bit about that.
My dad was really a man before his time.
Right.
He was very forward thinking. I mean, John Purdy will tell you that in the 70s, my dad was worried about Y2K. I mean, and he really was. I mean, what's going to happen when this happens? Because he would set up many nights and he would think into the future. He was a futuristic thinker. And he started computerizing the insurance company and the funeral home in the 1970s.
Wow.
And he had a great group of ladies who came in, and back then all of your burial insurance records were kept on the little cards.
Right.
So they went in and put in every policy, and many of those policies started in the 30s.
Wow.
And they might be a policy for $100, a policy for $200. You know, and then the family just upped it every year, as people do still today. And so they put those in all by hand. They would print it out. They would check it, correct their errors, print it out again, correct it. I mean, there was so much correcting, and I remember they would always have these ink pads, and they'd keep a pencil with an eraser.
I started to say that.
And they'd hit that ink pad when it was good. It was black or red, you know.
Absolutely.
And then you could make your notes with your pencil. So,
well, you know, even in our lifetime, and as in our younger lifetime, the write it down, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, this much and for this and blah 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 blah, or keeping, you know, an accounting record. You know, I'm sure we've doing a bank balance.
That's right.
Writing down the check that you wrote and then subtracting and I mean we've seen that as young as we are.
As young as we are, and our kids don't even carry checks or cash.
No, there's no such thing. No, just swipe the card. Swipe the card and go.
That doesn't do well for me, but
I've always liked to if I I swipe the card, but there's something about writing a check that makes me feel better about it.
You feel like you've paid.
Yeah, I feel like I've paid. Absolutely. Let me just write a check for that. And I don't do a lot of cash. I don't like to carry cash, but anyway, writing that check, and so many people don't take checks anymore.
I know.
You know, you just got to scan through the machine. Get in the.
You've got to get in the real world.
You've
got to slide that card whether you want to or not.
Lots of technology has changed. I mean, the funeral home business technology has changed.
I started working 30 years ago in January, and back then, you of course turned in your obituaries to all of the newspapers and to the radios, and how you did that is you got on the telephone.
Right.
And you called them and you read every word.
Absolutely.
Off of a chart, and then they wrote the obituary how they saw fit.
Right.
And I know Mr. Rickelson always, if it was somebody of notoriety or somebody who had meant a lot to the community, he would come out and do the obituary.
Is that right?
Take the information from here and go back and really give it his personal attention. And there's just so many things that have changed. When we started faxing obituaries.
Yes, what a technological advancement.
It was a huge advancement because we only had to type it once and stick it in that machine. And that was huge.
I'm going to tell you this, and this is funny because I must have been really short-brained at that time. I always wondered how that little sheet of paper went through that wire and came out of another little sheet of paper on the other end. And even more amazing, when you drove down the road in your car and you turned the radio on, and when you drove by the radio station, you could hear somebody in there. And I thought, well, why is there not a wire that connects to that? So, you know, technology's been here a long time.
A long time. You know, we have always been so intent on keeping a copy of everything.
Right, absolutely.
Every sheet of paper that we write on. You know, you don't transfer notes. Everything goes in that file.
Right.
Or a copy if you give someone else an original. my mother, every time she'd start to fax something, she'd say, "Don't you think we need to make a copy of that first?"
Just in
I mean,
case.
it was just ingrained, because you just felt like when it left, it was
It's
gone.
gone. It's gone.
And I felt
Comes
that
out on
way
the other
myself.
end. Yeah, it comes in.
I
We
knew
get it.
it wasn't so, but
Right.
that's, I mean, we all kind of had that angst about it.
Right,
I get.
absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
You know, and now Karen types the obituaries one time,
And finish.
writes
With a click of a
three-
button.
The
With a click
of a button.
We were talking about Facebook a little bit ago and information, you know, a lot of good, some bad, but lots of good information to where in your business, in the funeral home business, which is a service business, you find out a lot about service on Facebook and finding out about people and so on and so forth.
You do. It's a great way to keep up with people's grandchildren and you know, just to be a part of people's lives who are even 500 miles away. You know,
Sure.
you can still, they're your friends, you can still have a part of their life. But there's something that I think I feel very strongly that people need to really be careful with, and that's when a tragedy happens or an accident, don't directly go and put it on Facebook until you know that of the family and the close friends have been notified by the proper authorities.
Sure.
Because that's just not the place for a family to be notified of an accident, of a car accident or a death of any kind. You know, I mean, family needs to be notified. And
yeah, it's tough to get the notification anywhere, but social media would be something that you go, golly gee,
yeah.
I wouldn't want it there.
No,
but it's
you
a very
don't
good point.
want it there. And I think anybody who puts anything on social media, they have a good heart about it. They want people praying, they want people thinking about it. But we do have to be careful about when we do that.
Right,
We need to wait a legitimate amount of time
I agree.
before we
totally
make
agree.
things public. And when all the true details do come out.
Right, absolutely.
Because
And when you know.
sometimes all the details,
That's correct. The
they're
facts.
sketchy,
The facts.
you know. And
Well, I got to mention this. If you haven't picked up a copy of the latest Eye on Jackson County, it honors a tremendous community person, a great lady, and you're on the cover. And
you're very sweet.
As Ben Black said, they named it after you.
That's
Eye
so
on
funny.
Jackson.
That was funny.
Jackson.
Thank you.
But,
Thank you.
Kimberly and Joseph do a great job, the Thomases, of putting that magazine together. And each month they talk to somebody that's been instrumental in making our community a better community. And you're so honored this month, and congratulations to you.
I appreciate it. Well, I love Jackson County.
I guarantee
I
you
bet
would.
there's just few people who love it any more than two people sitting on this end of the table.
I do. I've said this. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. And I didn't choose to be born here. I didn't choose to live here. I lived here because my mom and dad lived here. I did choose to come back here, and I did choose to live here, and I'm going to choose to die and be buried here.
Me too.
I'm not going anywhere.
Me either.
Good to see you, Miss Jan.
Good to see you. Thank you, David.
Always an honor to get to come down and visit with you.
Thank you.
Jackson's Funeral Home, Jan Jackson Maris, at the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bud Black, and let's talk some sports. And glad to have the Bank of England and Kenny Thaxton over in the Newport Village Mall as our sponsor on our program. Listen, if you are looking for a home loan, if you're looking to refinance, just talk to all the people in Newport, Arkansas have been doing that. I think you're going to find a huge majority of those people have said, hey, we went through the Bank of England. It was fast, it was good, it was courteous. Give them a shot if you're refinancing or you're buying a home, you're interested in a mortgage. I just tell you, there's a lot of folks doing that and seem to be having a lot of success with it. With Kenny Thaxton at the Bank of England, tell them we sent you by there, okay? Let's talk some sports. We always talk a little football here this time of year. There's a lot going on. The Greyhounds, we are hoping, have a better season than last year. We're not used to having those type of years around here, as the coaches will tell you, the players will tell you. I think this is a turnaround year for the Greyhounds. I really believe those kids are inspired to play better football. They seem to have, with all due respect to last year's team, they seem to have a little more talent, maybe more speed, especially at the skill positions. They may have some people that can tote the mail. And I just believe that on paper also, the schedule, which is not an easy one, just because we dropped down to AAA doesn't make it an easy schedule. There's some powerful clubs there down through the years. Gosnell has been in the playoffs. Rivercrest, of course. We know our battles with Osceola in the past. So we're going to renew some old rivalries. And I don't know if they'll ever go back to the level that they were, because that was hard to top back in the 90s and at that time period. But the 80s and 90s were great times for Greyhound football. And I don't know, we've had some awfully good kids coming through the little kids program and the junior high program. And maybe we're due for a run of 4 or 5, 6 years here where things have turned around. Let's hope so. I know everybody's working hard. Everybody wants to do great. And, you know, we can't get down if it doesn't go well early. You hang in there. You fight through it. I think this team will get better as the season goes on. I think by the middle of the year, they'll be pretty good. And maybe by the end of the year, come playoff time, if they get in, they have an opportunity to really surprise some people. So wouldn't put any pressure on the kids, but I think they want to be told that they can be good. And I tell you guys, you can be good. You can be a lot better than we were last year. And you'll enjoy winning a lot more when you get a good taste of it from the coaches and all the students and the players, everybody included. All right, Greyhound football, it is upon us. And on top of that, let's talk Cardinals real quick. As I sit here today and do my show, the Cardinals just had the low point of the season. Which one, you say? Because they had dozens of them, haven't they? Every time they have one of those, it looks like the lowest point. It can't get any worse. They miss fly balls in the outfield to give up the winning run. They run into each other in the outfield. I mean, it's the Three Stooges. It's an absolute mess. Last night, as I'm filming today, the Cardinals give up a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th inning to the lowly Cincinnati Reds, who are 20 games below 500 and blow the game 7-5. Even Pete Rose on his show, being an analyst after the ball game on television, said, you can't lose to the Cincinnati Reds. You cannot be a playoff contender and do that. The Cardinals are getting some of their ill people back, but at the same time, they lose Diaz, their shortstop. He's probably gone for the remainder of the year. They said at first it was just a bruise, then it's a fracture, and by the way the Cardinals do that, you know, it starts out as a bruise and a fracture, and then it's an amputation by the time you get around to it. I mean, they really downplay injuries, which bothers a lot of people. Just come out front there and tell us what it is, and the guy's going to be out 60 days to the end of the year, and we know all about it. And for a guy that's had his team in the playoffs, can't win in the playoffs, but Mike Matheny, as the manager, probably is drawing more heat than any Cardinal manager in the last 25 or 30 years, even way back before La Russa, because they are just so mismanaged. They're so awful fundamentally. How in the world can these guys be 6 games above 500 when we talk at this time? Because they have a lot of talent on the team. Just hasn't meshed. It hasn't come together. Here lately, in late July into August, the starting pitching's begun to falter. And the Cardinals are, I've said before, wouldn't make the playoffs this year. I'm sticking by that. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. As a matter of fact, I think the Pittsburgh Pirates, who trailed him by a game or two in the standings, will catch the Cardinals down the stretch. And you know what the Cardinals did? They made some big moves at the trading deadline. You know, we sat on that $300 million, didn't sign any free agents, so at the trading deadline, they're going to make a big move or 2 or 3, Mozeliak says. Yes, they're going to strengthen this club. They're going to get a center fielder who can run, who can hit, who can catch the ball in the outfield. They're going to get another starting pitcher. They're going to get a big relief pitcher. They traded the only true center fielder in the organization, a kid named Charlie Tilson, down at AA Springfield, who could fly like the wind and can catch the ball, was hitting around 300. They traded him for Zach Duke, a left-handed pitcher. Way to go, Zach. Chicago White Sox, first appearance with the Cardinals, comes in, gives up 2 hits and a walk, and they take him out of the game. Hey, way to go. Cardinals, most frustrating sports team in history, with perhaps the exception of the current Dallas Cowboys, who kind of remind me of the Cardinals. Anyway, hope they do better. Can't worry about it much anymore. I'm worried about Greyhound football and getting excited about that. That's where my thoughts are right now. Let's go, Hounds. Let's get the job done. It's a fun time of the year, the end of the baseball season, the start of the football season. Hope you'll get out and support the Greyhounds.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the August edition of the Farmer Supply Association Agriculture Report. Well, August is here, and that means that the long hot summer is nearing an end. I mean, as we tape on August the 3rd, you wouldn't think about it being nearing an end, as we're around 100 degrees with high humidity and very little wind out here taping today. But the end is in sight, and certainly I think most people are ready for it. Again, with August, that means harvest is going to start, and I look for really pretty much all of our major crops to have harvest begin this month. No doubt rice will begin, corn will begin, grain sorghum, what little of it's out there will begin, and I think we'll even have some soybeans harvested during the month of August. So things are going to get going here pretty quick, and I think hopefully we'll get the year over with pretty quick. It's been a pretty warm summer, and that really just accelerates the maturing process of our crops, the development of them. So, looking for an early harvest and hopefully a good harvest. I do think potentially it is a good crop. The one concern we have is, it's obviously been a pretty hot summer, especially much of July, and as we get into August, it's been, above normal. So sometimes that can really affect yields to an extent, especially rice. So we're kind of a little concerned about our rice crop and some other things as well. We don't think it's been so hot that it's just devastating by any stretch to our rice crop, but it's been hot enough that it may negatively impact it a little bit. I think we've got good potential, but again, it could be affected and we could lose a little bit of that potential because it's just so hot. Hopefully, along with hot, usually comes dry. And hopefully our farmers that have irrigation, obviously with corn and rice you do, most soybean farmers nowadays do have irrigation. Hopefully our farmers have been able to keep up with their irrigation needs of their crop. And if they've done that, that really helps, a little bit to alleviate some of those heat issues. So, if they've been able to do that, hopefully a good crop is out there. Talking about irrigation, when we get to August, one of the big things we look at with all of our crops is irrigation termination. When can I stop irrigating? Farmers are tired of doing that all summer. They want to save some money. They're ready to get done. So, you don't want to quit too early, but when you can quit, you're ready to do it. So I'm going to talk about our different crops and irrigation termination. Number one is corn, and for the most part, as we enter August, most of our corn has already had the irrigation terminated. Not all of our corn, but a lot of it has had irrigation termination. They've stopped watering and safely done so. But if you haven't, what you need to do is look at that starch layer inside that kernel of corn. If you kind of cut it lengthwise and feel of the corn kernel inside, the top part of it gets hard from the top down, and that's called the starch layer. It develops from the top down, and from where that kernel turns from hard to soft, that's kind of the starch line. And we want that starch line to be at least 50% down if we're flood or furrow irrigating. We want it at least 75% down if we're center pivot irrigating. So again, look at the starch line. Be a little conservative because it's so hot and dry, and make sure it's, again, at least 50 or 75% depending on your type of irrigation. Rice is just a little bit more complicated because not only do we have yield issues with irrigation termination on rice, we can also have quality issues such as milling. So it's very important that we don't terminate irrigation of rice too quickly, especially when it's very hot. 2 or 3 things to look at. One, the DD50 computerized rice management program. It bases irrigation or draining date actually on 25 days past 50% heading on long grain varieties and 30 days past 50% heading on the medium grain varieties. So that's kind of a baseline. If you know when that heading date was, again, 25 days past that for long grains and 30 days for medium grains. Another thing to look at visually is on a silt loam soil, if about 2/3 of that panicle is ripe or has that tan brown look, 2/3 of it at least, then you're pretty safe to terminate irrigation and drain the field. If it's a clay field, about 1/3 of that head or panicle, if it's brown or ripe, then you can go ahead and drain the field. So again, we want to be conservative because of the hot temperatures. Another rule of thumb I've always used, if those end grains are brown or ripe and the bottom grains have milk in them at least, they're usually pretty safe to drain. And again, we want to be conservative with these hot temperatures and maybe push it just a little bit further out than we normally would so we can maintain yield and maintain quality on this rice crop. Finally, on soybeans, what we go with on the soybean is a little bit later than we used to. We used to say if the beans within the pods were touching, you can terminate irrigation, but now we want to go a little bit later. What we look at is that seed inside that pod. If it's separated from the membrane in that pod, you'll see a little white membrane in there. If the seed is separated from that membrane, then it's no longer gaining weight. So so that it's not going to gain weight regardless of whether you irrigate or whatever you do. So you can go ahead and stop at that point. Generally at this point you're seeing a little bit of color in that pod. It's not yellow, but it's kind of getting that yellowish tint instead of that deep green tint. So that's when you can stop irrigating your soybeans. So hopefully our farmers will pay attention to this, keep the water on it as long as they need to, and maybe push it just a little bit longer if these temperatures stay hot, since we're so early in August when we're looking at all this. So hopefully they'll maintain that water long enough where we can harvest some good yields this fall, and next month we'll probably be talking about how some of the crops are turning out. This has been Randy Klepechka with your Farmer Supply Association, Jackson County Agriculture Report.